Today you're going to learn how to hire a salesperson for your social media marketing agency so that you can spend more of your time doing the things you want to do and less time on sales calls. I have gone through this process in the last number of months. It has probably taken me 3 to 6 months to really dial in this process and to feel confident in my ability to hire a salesperson. This has been one of the most difficult things I've done in my agency. Automating our outreach, hiring client managers, removing myself from service delivery, all of those things were very, very easy, a complete walk in the park compared to this. This has tested me the most in this journey, and that's why I'm excited to share with you the things you need to know. Okay, so let's just clear up a huge misconception before we go any further. Some of you watching this video may not have any clients, maybe you have 2 clients, maybe you've got 3 clients. The harsh reality is that you have to do sales yourself for a long time. You know, I've taken over 1,000 sales calls for my agency. I have personally signed up over 200 clients to my agency, and I did all of that before I hired a salesperson. And it comes down to the fact that you have to master sales yourself first before you can give it to someone else. And I wish this wasn't the case, because I would have saved a lot of time and I would have made a lot more money because I could have scaled up our business faster. But I see it time and time again. And from all of the people I know that have built big agencies and scaled it up and hired salespeople, this is what happens. So before you go ahead and try and hire a salesperson, make sure your outreach and your lead gen are dialed in. You've got calls coming in every week. Know what that number is for you. For my agency, we need to have 10 or 20 of these calls coming in a week. And there wouldn't really be a point of having a salesperson if it's less than that. So focus on lead gen, outreach, get your numbers up, and then we can move on to this process, okay? So with that out of the way, we're gonna get into the actual notes, right? What have I learned through this process? How do you go about this? And most importantly, I'm gonna start with the salesperson that I hired. So I've gone through a couple of people. I've tried this process, as I've mentioned, for 3 to 6 months now. And my current salesperson, who is doing sales part-time, meaning that they're taking all of our sales calls, but it doesn't take up their whole entire day, is actually one of my team members. She's one of our client managers. She essentially manages probably 20 of our clients, also helps out a bunch of our team members to manage clients, and she's been with us for over 2 years. So she really does know our business inside and out. And that's one of the key reasons why I chose her. Now before this, I tried hiring an external salesperson, someone that I found on my social media, and they had a little bit of experience in a marketing agency before. They did some part-time work, plus they also knew how to sell. They did some sales in a part-time job as well. So I thought this was going to be a perfect match, but it really did not work out. One of the biggest lessons I learned was that the person that is doing sales for you needs to understand your entire business, right? They can't just be on a sales call and close someone unless they know everything that they need to know. Because you can have a prospect that hops on a sales call with your salesperson. It's all going really well and we're 25 minutes deep, and then they ask a question that they simply cannot answer. And what would happen in this case is that he would come to me and he would then ask me, and he would tell the person on the call that he was going to get back to them, and immediately he has lost the client. And the reason he's lost the client is because they see that he does not know everything and that he can't give them an answer straight away. When someone's on a call with you, like, they're in buying mode, and you need to embrace that. You need to be able to answer everything that they ask, and if you can't do that, you're going to lose a sale. So that's who I hired, one of my team members. She gets paid commission only, meaning that she gets paid a retainer for the work that she does in my agency, and then she gets 10% of any deals that she closes, which is pretty good. Last week there was a day where she brought in 5 clients in one day. So she had herself a nice day of commissions. So the first thing you should do is you should build out a sales system, okay? You can't hire someone and expect them to do well if you don't have a good system. So you need to have details about what they need to do before a call, how to warm up the prospect. You need to give them a rough script or a manual or a demo pitch deck that they can use on the sales call. And you need to fill them in on the details, such as how to follow up after the call, how to take payment, everything that you can possibly think of. They need to have that info. You need to have a sales tracking system, and you need to have KPIs in place. For example, you need to have a tracking system for each call that shows, the notes from the call. For example, my salesperson writes down notes after every call so that she can review the call. She can give her honest opinion of whether it went good or it went bad, and then I can come in, review her calls, and give her notes as well. So it's all very organized, and that we can see all her progress over the coming months. She records every call, and we keep track of her close rate. So if her close rate is really low, we can look into what the issue is. Maybe it's the type of prospect we're attracting to the calls, or maybe it's her sales closing ability and we need to work on that. When you have a good sales system and a good tracking system, the only thing that can go wrong is if you have a salesperson that's just not very good. And that was my biggest struggle through this process, was finding that person. Now that I've found that person, I can see very, very clearly of how I would do this again. And if I had to hire a second salesperson, I know what I would do. A really, really important point, apart from the fact that you have to do sales yourself first, that is by far the most important point in this video. The second most important point is that you have to realize that if you're doing sales yourself, like I did, where I took over 1,000 calls and closed hundreds of clients, I had to realize that the close rate of our calls was gonna dip. Now, I'm sure there are cases where this close rate does not dip and it actually in fact increases because your salesperson is just better than you, but I was pretty good at sales. Okay, so for me to bring someone on, I knew it was going to dip. So doing this too early, outsourcing your sales or hiring a team member to do your sales for you, will actually hurt your growth potential as an agency owner if you do this too early. Because for every call that you take, that is a potential new client. And if you close 30 or 40%, but your salesperson closes 20%, you're going to be losing out on maybe 10 or 20% of new revenue every month. That's quite a big dip, and you have to be okay with that, and that's why you don't do it too early. Also want to make the point that if you are hiring a salesperson, you should really just have one service, one offer, and one niche. Our process now is so simple for our salesperson to follow. We've one package, that's it. We've one offer, we offer that one service, and it's for one niche. So this makes it easy. If we offered 3 different services and we worked with clients from all different industries, it would make this process really difficult. But man, what a feeling. Like, going through this process, like I mentioned at the start of this video, I have learned so much. I had so many doubts about this process. There was times where I wanted to give up and just go back to sales myself and do everything myself, because I could see the fact that we were losing out on potential clients. It was hurting our ability to keep our revenue. But now that I've gone through it, my eyes are opened, and it kind of feels like the feeling that you get when you sign your first client. Like, you've been trying for months, you've not seen any progress, and you finally cracked the code. That's exactly what this feels like. I finally know what it's like to not have to do 5+ sales calls a day, because I did that for a very long time. I also want to drop in a point that because my team member is a team member and a salesperson, what this means is that we have to be selective with the times that we take calls. So right now she's only actually taking calls, I think it's 3 to 4 days a week. So no weekends, and then also on certain days during the week, she has them booked off. And that's so that she has time to focus on her clients, make sure she's doing her job to the best of her ability first and foremost, and then she's using her extra time for sales. So guys, I hope you got some value from this video. I enjoyed shooting this one because I've just gone through this process. It's fresh on my mind. And it is something that I'm going to be teaching in a lot of detail to my students, because once you get to that maybe 10, 20, 30K a month mark, to get to that next level, you're probably going to need to look into doing this. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do, and I'll talk to you soon.